The King and Queen of the Ring is the WWE's next PLE, and it is coming fast. And yet this new regime, in my opinion, is making the same mistake from a regime of the past.
And here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you stopped by. And if you're brand new, welcome. Grab a seat and stay a while. But do me a couple favors first. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Go next door, ring that bell. Make sure it says all so you know when the next video pops up. Hit that like button. And before you head out, drop a comment. And if you're one of the regulars here, welcome back for another round. I ask that you also hit that like button. And before you leave, drop a comment, because YouTube does love the comments. And of course, share the video out on all social media. So yeah, Raw, SmackDown, both in full swing, headed toward the King and Queen of the Ring premium live event that will be held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, a week from this coming Saturday. Now, last week we talked about the first round matches over on Raw, and we'll go over the semi-final matches from that show this past Monday, along with the first round matches from SmackDown. Now, while I am genuinely excited about how this event is going to play out, it seems to me, at least, that the current regime is making some decisions that are reminiscent of a previous regime, and this might be something that they want to address sooner than later.
And here we go.
Okay, so we're going to start off with last week on SmackDown, where much like Raw, last week SmackDown was chock full of qualifying matches for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. And also, much like Raw, two matches, one from the men's side and one from the women's side, were to be held at house shows. This will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, in the first match we had, it was a match of two legends where Randy Orton, the Viper, defeated AJ Styles to advance to the next round. In another match, in a match of NXT call-ups, Carmelo Hayes defeated also NXT call-up, but also WWE main roster veteran Baron Corbin. Angelo Dawkins, however, was not as successful, as he just got decimated by Tama Tonga. And on the women's side, Jade Cargill did not look horrible in her match against Piper Niven. Bianca Belair and Nia Jax won their first matches. And as far as the house shows went, LA Knight won his first match, defeating Santos Escobar. And the center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton, also won her first match, defeating Mia Yim.
Well done. Well done.
Also, a championship match was announced for Jeddah, as Cody Rhodes will take on the United States champion Logan Paul in a champion versus champion. Appears to be a title versus title match. That's interesting. And then to add to the Bloodline saga, Solo Sikoa apparently has spoken to Roman Reigns and assures Paul Heyman that everything that he and Tama and Tonga Loa are doing has the blessing of the tribal chief.
Sure.
And now that brings us to this past Monday on Raw from South Carolina, where, as I mentioned last week, they had two King and Queen of the Ring qualifying matches that were held at a house show. This was going to be in Macon, Georgia. Well, Kofi Kingston and Shayna Baszler both ended up winning their matches, setting up the show for tonight. Now, the show started off with Drew McIntyre coming into the ring, and of course, he is complaining about CM Punk. Going on and on and on until he is joined by Damian Priest inside the ring, and those two went back and forth, and frankly, this was probably one of the best promos Damian Priest has done as champion. And it ended with Damien basically saying, once you're healthy, you want a title shot, you got it. I think this is obviously setting up Glasgow, Scotland for Clash in the Castle. Now, going back to the King and Queen of the Ring matches. These continued, and in another great match, the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky, got over from Shayna Baszler in probably the women's match of the night. We have Gunther, who just destroyed Kofi Kingston, because I guess we needed one more chapter in the Imperium and New Day storyline.
Thank God that's over.
Yeah.
And then we had Lyra Valkyria won her match against Zoe Stark to advance into the tournament. And then later on in the show, she came to the aid of Becky Lynch, who was in a match with Dakota Kai, only to get jumped by Damage Control. They cleared the ring of Damage Control, and while their backs were turned, Liv Morgan, continuing her heel tendencies, attacked Becky Lynch from behind. And then in the main event, Jey Uso defeated Ilya Dragunov in a surprise to me and a surprise to a lot of folks, to advance in the King of the Ring tournament. So this is setting up next week for the Raw finals. Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky, and Gunther versus Jey Uso to advance to the Premium Live event.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Now, for the most part, I have been very happy with the work that Paul Levesque has done with the WWE in this new era. I'm not saying he's perfect, and I'm not saying he's above criticism. And this upcoming Premium Live event is a prime example of how the new boss is kind of acting like the old boss.
You don't say. You don't say.
If you'll allow me to explain. First off, this championship match. Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, title versus title. I hate these matches. I really do. This was something that Vince did a lot when he wanted to get rid of a title. He would just hang up a bunch of titles around, and whoever won, pulled down the main belt, would unify all the titles, and it was just a big, ugly mess. And unless someone is actually walking out of Saudi Arabia holding two belts, this match is going to end up in a double countout or a double disqualification. And as far as the title reign of Cody Rhodes thus far, it seems like there's no readily available plan, and there's no story going into these matchups, at least until we get to the return of The Rock or Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. So we're just going to kind of line up challenger, then line up the next challenger, then line up the next challenger. But, you know, they're all going to be banger matches. And I kind of wonder, where have I seen and where have I heard this before? It's got to, it's nagging my brain a little bit. I'm sure it'll come to me at some point. If you know, leave in the comments. And another pet peeve of mine is having existing champions within this tournament. This year on the SmackDown women's side, we have the current tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, which if they both win their next match, that puts them face to face to see who goes to the Premium Live event for the finals.
You can't be serious.
And this angle is just way too early in the eventual story that I think they want to tell. Also, I'm not a big fan of having main event talent in these tournaments. This should be for mid-card talent. I mean, in the current slate right now, as much as I love Io Sky and I love Tiffany Stratton, they are main event caliber. So their spot in the tournament is just taking an opportunity for someone else to potentially shine.
That makes sense.
Because as I said, from what I remember about the King of the Ring, it was used as an opportunity for mid-card superstars to find their way into the main event scene before it got goofy, which I might add, the crowns. Can we stop with the crowns, please? No, I'm done, overdone. Anyway, I digress. Now, the most famous of this was a mid-card superstar who was known for being stunning, launched himself into not only the main event scene, but in the WWE history with just one sentence. And that sentence, upon winning the King of the Ring, was simply, Austin 3:16 says, "I just whooped your ass." I'd say that's a gamble that pretty much paid off in spades. And when it comes to especially the women's division of the WWE, they are really afraid to take a gamble. I mean, as it stands now, the way it looks, the final in Jeddah is, to me, it looks like it's going to be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair.
Oh, come on.
Which is just continuing the Bianca versus Damage Control feud that really should have ended via the WWE draft, and with Bianca and Jade defeating Damage Control at Backlash for the tag team championships. And I mean, the main roster shows, Raw and SmackDown, have drafted some excellent talent from the women's division. I mean, just on Raw alone, you've got Kiana James and Lyra Valkyria, for example. Now, and I would have no issue pushing Lyra to the finals in Jeddah for the Premium Live event. But I would do it slightly differently, because there was one who went to SmackDown that if I were in charge and I were booking this match, I would put her into the final, and not only competing for Queen of the Ring, but winning the whole thing as an uber heel versus Lyra Valkyria's uber babyface. That being Blair Davenport. Now, two main roster rookies championing a Premium Live event, it's definitely a risky move. But if you want to showcase your newest talent for this division and this new era, in my opinion, the risky move is the right move. But these are just my thoughts. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Let me know what you think down below in the down below in the comments. Be sure to check me out tonight, 7 p.m. simulcasting here from Legion Talk. Wednesday night is overbooked. Myself, Ryan Legion, Brad Duke Devil 95, and Left Eye Ego. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, folks. Again, quick reminder before you head out the door, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, hey, thanks for sticking around this long. I appreciate it. I will see you guys all very soon. Hope you're having a great week. Have a great rest of the week ahead of you. And always have fun. Hashtag keep talking. And always keep that smile on your face.